Well, hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well, despite the fact that we're all staying at home, and we would really love hug other people and, do actual real Pilates with equipment and all of that, but we're making the best of it. And I have asked my good friends from the Pilates studio in Hadley, Massachusetts, here on a call with me today, because they were in the same shoes as you probably are, that they have a real, studio, brick and mortar studio, and they had to close their studio, and they have transitioned to teaching online. And they were so gracious to offer to share with you guys how they have set everything up. So maybe it'll be helpful for you. If you're still in the process of figuring out how am I doing this, how can I continue to support my students at this time. And so let me introduce you to, there's Katrina, Laurie, and Mark from the Pilates studio in Hadley. Hello guys.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
It's good to see you. I'm sorry we're so far away and we can't shake hands and stuff.
I know. I'm just like, not even 2 hours away probably. That's how it goes. Strange times indeed.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how it's been going for you right now, last few weeks.
Well, we chose to close 2 weeks ago was our last day. 2 weeks ago today, right? It's only been 2 weeks. Wow, that's crazy. And we had decided the week before, because people were starting to practice social distance. The demographic of our studio are like smack dab in the middle of the high risk folks. So a lot of people had kind of started social distancing before we chose to close completely. And so we developed the idea of having an online membership for these folks so that they can continue while they weren't coming into the studio. And we're asking a monthly membership fee. And when we started the idea, we're like, before we knew before we knew what this was really going to become, we're like, oh, we'll stream a mat class every day. That'll be great. Mm-hmm. And then it's developed because we had to close. So now we're streaming 3 mat classes a day, some specialty classes. I have some students that are teacher trainees, so I'm doing some apparatus classes too, because they are in the same boat that they can go to their studio, but nobody else can. So they have all this equipment that needs to be used. So we're doing apparatus classes in the afternoon as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and we also started with a pay what you can membership, because we do know that a lot of people might be in financial hardship. So we did introduce it like that. And honestly, I mean, people they're paying about $100 a month, which is going to be so helpful for us just to keep the doors open when everything's all better and the lights on and all that kind of stuff. So that's been really successful, and it's also helped the people who can't necessarily afford that much, that they can keep moving and they can keep supporting us and they can keep in contact. So chances are, they'll come back to the community without question.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
One of the important points to make, in some of the studio owners I've talked to didn't realize this, is what the people are buying is not really the class. They're buying the connection to people that they know, like, and trust, and they get that support. They could go somewhere else, but they don't want to do that because they want to be with their community. And everyone I've talked to that started this, they're experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, I did an interview with one of my members, and she did the same thing, and she had the same experience. Like, people actually, they don't want anybody else, they want her, because they already have the connection with her. And you as a teacher, your students, so you know exactly what they need, so you can support them much better than a stranger ever could, right?
Yeah. Right. We allow time after one of our classes. We actually have an open community Q&A, so whoever's on the call can ask questions about their body. If there's any new aches or pains, they can ask questions about the logistics of the membership. So that's been really nice to keep in touch with everyone.
How often do you do that?
Every day.
Wow.
Okay,
cool.
We have a beginner mat class at 9:30 that's like 25 minutes, and it's very conceptual, because like many studios, we have a lot of people that don't really do mat class, they do apparatus work. So beginner mat class is like, this is how a mat class works, these are some ideas that you need to have in your mind. And then at 10 o'clock we have an intermediate mat class that starts with a warm-up, so the beginners could stick it out for the first half an hour of that class and still be perfectly safe. And then at the end of that class at about 10:50, we do 10 minutes question and answer. How's it
Oh,
going?
great.
Yeah.
Or really, however much time they need.
Yeah,
Some days
absolutely.
there's lots of questions, other days not so much.
Yeah.
And it's been helpful for us too, just because as teachers, we all live together, which is the weird part. So we're still socially isolating, even though we're standing right next to each other. But it for us, because I miss these people too. Like these people, you
Right.
know people for years, and you develop these relationships, and you don't realize, wow, that person is actually really very important to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see them for a couple months. So that it's been helpful for us just to hear their voices.
And then by having these Q&As, you hear what people actually need, what they actually need, right? Because what we think or imagine that they need is often different from what the day-to-day sort of confusion is right now for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah, we've been able to, we're teaching specialty, like some people have some different apparatus. So in the afternoon, we do another mat class that is TheraBand or a ball or just different classes that way. So we can meet those needs that are less general.
And I'm sure that develops, right, over time. Probably the more consistent, you'll know who those people are that are on the membership and who keep showing up at the same time, and then you'll be able to target a little bit more specifically towards them, probably. Are you teaching it all, like one-on-ones at all?
I am doing one-on-ones. I'm calling them consultations. Some people are having me just lead them through a workout and they set up their camera. And then other people have used the time to ask me questions about specific and just taken notes about what they could do at home. And so I'm letting people lead those themselves. What do you need from me? That's what I ask when they come into the studio for a session. So I ask the same thing.
Yeah.
And just, that's basically how they've gone. And those are starting to pick up a little bit. The first week when we were closed, I think everyone was in shock.
Yeah, sure.
And now we're kind of getting the new this is our life for a couple months. So now what are we going to do?
Yeah. Awesome. Good. So are you ready to show us around how you've set it up at your studio? Shall we do that?
Sure, we'll show you some of behind the scenes sort of stuff.
Yes. And I'll put that video in the foreground now so that we see the room.
So Mark's going to unmute his and I'm going to mute mine.
Okay.
Unmute. Okay. So go ahead and turn that volume down or switch it to the headset. So what you're experiencing now is what everybody experiences when you have two live microphones in the same room.
Yeah.
So step number one, you always want to make sure that your secondary camera has the audio somehow interrupted. Let me show you how that works. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is they're going out and they're buying cameras. What you're looking at here is a 6-year-old Android that I took out of the drawer that I never threw away. And all you have to do is revive them, charge them up, and then have them join a host or a panelist, depending on which software you're using. And you notice the little pink jack right there, Mario?
Yes.
That defeats the audio. It's a headset. I'm not going to use it, but it prevents the speaker from making any noise in the room, which would cause feedback.
Okay.
Right? So, a $12 tripod. That's all you need.
Right.
That's the standing shot right there. Somebody go get in the frame. And you can see actually right now we're on camera 2, so she's not quite in the frame. But let's move over here. We've got an iPad that we didn't buy either. We already had it. That is also logged in as a camera to the meeting. And we can change cameras anytime we want. Just like you can change cameras on the meeting we're in now, Maura. So this one is an angle from the side. And then we've got a third one, and look at the screen of this.
Oh, wow.
It's smashed up. See, it doesn't matter. Don't go buy equipment. Just send an email out and say, hey, everybody, we need an extra iPhone or an Android. Whatever you got, send it to us because we need multi-cameras. You can imagine trying to do Pilates for the first time if you only have this angle, right? You miss a lot of stuff. But the moment you get 3 cameras going and you can shoot from here, right? You can do the standing shot. You can shoot from wherever you want. And, $100 worth of lights that we already own. You can even use those chicken egg warming lights that you can get at the feed store. It pretty much looks the same as what we're using. All right, so any questions about that? This is kind of clever. Do you see what we're doing with the Allegro One, Mara?
Yes.
This is actually a dolly shot. So when we need to pull back.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, we need to pull back. All you got to do is slide the dolly, and that changes the camera angle. We're not going to use the darn thing anyway, so why not put it to work?
That's fabulous.
So what else do I want to show you? Come on with me, ladies.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
So does the teacher see the students?
The teacher only sees the, oops, let me turn the camera around. There we go. The teacher only sees the students if you choose to.
Okay.
You can right click on any attendee in a Zoom meeting and say, make them a co-host. And the moment you do that, their camera is capable. We use webinars, slightly different.
Okay.
You have to graduate them to panelists. It's just different language, but it's the same outcome.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Now, another thing that we do, because we're doing 16 to 20 classes a week, we have to move our tripods around a lot. So to prevent having to figure out what camera goes where, we mark the floor with colored tape and a number so that we know exactly where to put the tripod for a given class. And then we only have the apparatus in the room that we need for the classes that day.
Wow.
Unbelievable the amount of time it saves just to have these on the
yeah.
floor, right? And you know, $1 worth of tape and you know, a Sharpie marker, and that's all you need. Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, and I know this room. I've been in this room. There were like, how many, 6, 8 reformers in there? Where are they? Where did they go?
It looks like a car lot in here now.
Oh, it's there.
To use car
Wow.
lot.
That's amazing.
So let's go back here. Just you asked earlier, Mara, about camera changing and all that stuff. I'll let shoot over Laurie's shoulder. Sure. So Katrina's going to go out and be in the shot.
Yeah.
And go ahead and just get rid of that. Yeah. So those are the 3 cameras that you just saw live out in the other room. And if Laurie wants to feature Katrina out front, she just right clicks and choose the spotlight.
I can't see that far away. Where is it?
We need to get you some readers.
I know. It is lighter.
So you can see we just switched from one
Yeah.
camera to another. And here's what's really cool. Laurie, Katrina, and I, we have the luxury of living in the same house. So we're socially isolated together.
Right.
If you're not that, and you're a teacher that needs to be in your studio by yourself, and your helper is somewhere else in the world, they can run this meeting from home. Laurie does it all the time. I'll set up the cameras. I'm here at the studio. Katrina's in front of the camera, and then Laurie does the camera changes from home.
Wow.
Right? That's just kind of, your brain explodes when you think
Yeah,
about that.
it does. It does.
Yeah. As long as you're logged into the same account and you're either a panelist or a co-host, depending on which technology you're using. I lost the frame there. You have everything you need to run the show.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. You guys are so set up.
Well, Pilates Business Pros is the reason why we have a lot of this technology, the consulting branch of our business that helps studios, figure stuff like this out. So.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah, let's go back out in the other room.
Yeah, shall we switch the view?
Yeah, come with me, and then we'll switch back to the other machine.
Right. Yes.
Laurie's right behind me. Yay! All right.
Whoops.
Unmute.
So we're just switching back, getting the sound back. Perfect.
Yay.
So was that helpful?
Yeah, there you go. No, perfect. That was amazing. Oh my God, I'm blown away. But you guys are just, I guess 3 brains together, right, can figure this out. This is amazing. That's where I think the power is. I think if I'm, a solo teacher or a single studio owner or something like that, and if I'm maybe not technically inclined like that, this is overwhelming. But so it's, so you teach people how to set this up for themselves, right?
Yeah, and we can get it done in 2 hours.
Oh my God. And it doesn't have to be
on the gear, then we can show them how to do it in about 2 hours remotely.
That's amazing. And it doesn't have to be quite this complicated, right? If they're not ready for that.
Yeah. We didn't hear your question. You froze up a little bit. So
Yeah, sorry. I think my internet connection, unfortunately, is not the best. So if somebody's doesn't want to go all out like your setup is, if they need something much simpler, that's totally fine. And you're not going to overwhelm them. You're just going to show them whatever's possible for them.
Yeah, one camera, 2 cameras. Really, what you learn is just the same thing twice, the same thing 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, a lot of when we started, like this setup took 2 weeks to develop. Like we start like our 3 weeks, because we did the mat classes the week before we closed, and it was we tried at first. We were going to edit every video together, and we're like, no, that's too much work. Okay, let's try this. No, that's too much work. Okay, let's try this. And so this setup took time to develop. And so when somebody if they do those 2 hours, we're like, okay, here are the answers. We've tried this and we've tried this. This is what we found to be the easiest and most efficient.
Right, and that timeline, just to qualify that, it was only longer because we have quite a sophisticated setup and a sophisticated plan. I mean, we're broadcasting 16 to 20 classes a week, which is more than most people are going to do. So don't let the 2 to 3 week timeline on that, intimidate you. For
sure. And you just start something, right? I've heard recently the phrase, and I keep going back to it these past 2 weeks, is start small and start now.
Yeah.
So important. Just get started however you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get started. And then you'll start to tweak things as you get familiar and comfortable with what you currently do.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the things, I've been teaching video for business for almost as long as we've had these devices.
Oh, wow.
And most people don't do it because for all the wrong reasons, they're self-conscious about the way they look or sound. But one of the bright sides of this crisis that we're all facing is there's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And because now it's a necessity, we're going to all set aside our personal stuff about the way we look and sound and get on camera and be ourselves and be successful in a changing world. Right?
Yes.
That's the right there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. I mean, I'm just still amazed by your creativity. I think I can see that, and I've known you guys for a while now, and I've seen it over the years, but this is another perfect example and such proof how you guys are such problem solvers. Like, you just work with what you have, and I love like the old beat up phones as cameras, and you make the best of what you got, right? You don't have to think like, oh, I can't afford all this and invest all this. So I really trust that.
Oh, no,
I'm back. I really trust that people are in good hands if they need your help with setting stuff like that up. So where can they find you if they need your help?
Yeah, pilatesbusinesspros.com. And there's an intro offers page that you're very easy to find. That one of the offers is the 2-hour streaming consult.
Awesome.
And if an instructor is a mind-body person, they purchase that through our mind-body site, so it'll be very familiar and easy for them.
Awesome. I'll put the link in the description.
Great.
So that they can find you. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to show us around. Good luck to you. I hope that even though you seem to be doing okay, I still hope we can go back to normal soon. But even if we have to wait it out a little bit longer, we can get through, and we can keep our students, right? And support each other, keep our community happy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mara. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to see more cool information, head over to PilatesEncyclopedia.com. I'll see you next time.